any questions about the ISP?
Or comments
Or
from
comments?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, for first jump courses, we've always taught equipment EPs in their entirety. Is the intent here for students as they progress through progression to slowly be introduced to the CEPs, or would you prefer they be introduced to all the CEPs in the first jump course?
So are you talking about canopy malfunctions?
Specifically Stay Alive or Practice 5.
So in the first jump course, we are not talking about CEPs. We're just keeping it very simple with controllability check and flying the pattern and a proper flare for a soft, finished flare. But not all of the CEPs. Those would be added in the categories as they progressed.
Ron, you had something you wanted to say?
And just a cautionary note for instructors and coaches. We talked a lot about how we defined terminology for the student because they're not used to the lingo of skydiving. There are some terminologies that are new that you guys need to get used to. So I would go through and read everything. One prime example is when we talk about the low turn recovery. Who here knows the difference between stopping a turn and neutralizing a turn? So we got a few hands up. This came up in conversation with the Canopy Task Force when we were talking about low turn recovery. The difference is when you stop a turn, you come out of a turn, you raise your hands, and you go back to full flight. But in an emergency situation, you need to recover as quickly as possible. So neutralizing a turn is, if I made a left turn, brought my left arm down to my shoulder, to neutralize that turn, I bring the right toggle down, and that recovers me as quickly as possible. So there is some terminology that's completely new that has come out of some pretty in-depth conversations. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
Okay, this has got to do with the concept of the ISP. In the past, we used to try to teach skydiving in a day. And we used to load our first jump courses up with all the information we thought was important and think that those people could actually remember and retain that information. Well, that's totally unrealistic. So either you're going to do a course over days, like the military does, which does work, but most of us don't. We're doing a course maybe in 4 hours, 6 hours, hopefully not 8 hours. So the ISP concept is to realize to spread that information out. This is to clarify your question, that we do what's very essential for the first jump course, for that first jump. And then we add on a little bit on every other category or jump that they do through the entire E-license program and build on that. Or what Jen likes to call their spiral curriculum, which is an interesting term. And so we realize that what we're doing is reinforcing the skills. We start with a very simple skill and then come around and build on it. And we continue to build on it until we get the A-license. And hopefully what we're going to get is a much better certified A-license skydiver that's going to be out there, that's going to be able to have skills, have fun, and be very safe.
Other questions?
Speak up.
Category A, free fall debrief. Initiate pull within 1,000 feet. Category B, assist pull within 500 feet. What is the difference between initiate and assist?
Look in the glossary. They're both defined. Omar, I'm going to teach you how to find the answer. Look in the glossary. Yep.
Any others? Sonic?
Have you guys thought about maybe recommending some apps specifically for spotting? The space seemed to be a good little thing that you created there, and not to promote specific apps, but I'm sure you've all heard of Spot Assist. I don't know of any other app that I use more and show more to students than Spot Assist. Are you guys familiar with Spot Assist? Is everybody else familiar with Spot Assist?
Check out Fun Jumper, John.
Okay.
Check out It's Way Better.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if.
His question was, his comment was, have we ever thought about promoting an app such as Spot Assist to help people in these kinds of situations? So USPA is in a unique situation where we really can't do that, because then what is another, somebody else just hollered out about another app. So that's not necessarily one of our policies, but we definitely promote, for instructors to go search those out. So unfortunately, that's kind of like, we can't really do that. No.
I also think, I do sometimes tell people about Spot Assist or Fun Jumper, but I think that's kind of like the last thing I do, because I want to make them do it manually first so they understand it. I think a lot of times our Fun Jumper base in general uses Spot Assist or Fun Jumper or whatever app to calculate the spot and has no idea how it works.
Fair. Noah did not need a mic.
Any other questions? Bobby?
The new sim book, is that for 25, 26, and is that been printed out?
It is, and it's available at the USPA store. If you want to buy a hard copy.
It's only good for 2025, not 2025, 2026.
Oh, yes.
We used to have a publishing house, and there were so many rules that we had to go by to get things done through them. Now that we're using Amazon and it's all print on demand, we can use color, we can change every year, so it's the most updated sim. The board's only supposed to change the manual once a year. So when we had the 2-year cycle, on the second year, instructors would have to, if they wanted to stay with the most updated equipment or information, go to the USPA website and get the change order, and then mark all the changes in the sim. Now, we can change it every year. So the version that's out, if it's the current version, it's the most current version, most current information. Sorry.
No, that's great. But so you can get it, you can purchase a hard copy at USPA's store or on Amazon, and you can also download it or see all the different versions that are on the USPA website.
And that's not to say that you can't use an older version, because we will still produce the change orders. So if you want to still buy every other year, you can get the change orders and mark the changes in your year-old sim.
Robert?
When will USPA deem the next version to be effective? Because I run into cases where a plaintiff's lawyer is citing the sim, and if you have a new sim coming out for 2026 and the accident happens on January 2nd, does that revert back to the 2025 version, or does a new version apply that most people probably wouldn't have yet?
Typically that's approved at the summer meeting, and then there's an effective date for January 1. So when the new sim comes out, the new IRM. But if you have problems, bring it to the board and we can discuss if there needs to be a change or something. We'd have to talk about it.
Dave?
Are the ebook, online, flipbook, iPhone app, and Android app, well, that's except for the Android app, are all of those synchronized with the current version?
So the ebook, yes. Flipbook, yes. PDF, yes. iPhone app, yes. With some people have been reporting a little menu problem that I'm looking into. Android, no. And I'm really sorry. I'm really trying. There's a process, a new process we have to do with Google Play, and we're still not through that process. So the Android one is delayed. I apologize for that.
What else?
In the iPhone app sim or whatever, when they go to take their quiz there through the sim app, can they, and does it sign off on their progression code?
Okay, so That's a good question about the quiz. If people are wanting to get credit for their quiz and on the actual online A card, they should be logged in, because I won't be able to tell if they're, because there's actually 2 different versions, because I wanted the quiz to be open for anybody. The one version that's not logged in is just JavaScript right there on the screen, so the instructor's really gonna need to be there to, share the information and mark it and all that. But if they're logged in, then they can get credit for it if they get 100%. The QR code goes to a really fancy interim thing that checks if they're logged in or not. If they're not logged in, it says, hey, do you have a member? Kind of tries to prompt them. But if you're trying to do that online, I would say, hey, make sure you're logged in to get credit, because people don't read,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, for the examiners, for the courses scheduled for 2025, and it says they can have the publications in the past few years, but since this is a major change, are we requiring publications effective 2025?
I believe that's up to the examiner to make that decision. I would highly recommend it because it's so nice to use. Dave Lepke and I just taught a coach course and an AFF course before we came here using the new sim, and it was so user friendly. So I would highly recommend it, but it's not required.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, what's the
Sharon.
along those same lines, what's the phase out for the old cars? Like, is there a percentage line in saying we can't use the old type of cars?
Yes, so the old cards will no longer be accepted by USPA as of January 1, 2026. So I would say implement the new ones as soon as possible at the beginning of this season and just start the process.
Ron had something.
Sherry, just to go back to the OCM question. The examiners have to be using the most current version. All the manuals are downloadable on PDF. There's no reason that.
I'm sorry, I thought that was candidates.
That's what I was referring to. I know I have to use.
Yep, candidates too.
So that's what I was wondering, because it says that it has to use.
Candidates too, because they can have an electronic version and they're absolutely free. There's no reason why they should not have the most current version.
And Ron has spoken.
Yeah.
Has there been any change or thought to change the military transition requirements?
That's wrong.
So we did update the things that needed to match, but there's some handy things. But other than that, we left most of it intact because what is happening before you get to that point is all the same. So we just updated it mostly for candy. So, and it's already updated online. So okay, and we're gonna update the PDF.